We're back, guys, with round 12 of the career mode here on F1 Manager. We're at the French Grand Prix. Last time at Carlos Sainz again. Brilliant performance, but then Charles Leclerc buried it in the last lap, right? And I swear, see if he bottles it in this race and then in Hungary, I'm getting someone else in for the second half of the season. Drastic, but if he does that, that means it's been like 6 races, like 6 at the first, 13 races that have been an absolute disaster. Like, he's bottled points. Like, if we factor up the amount of points that he's threw away, I mean, it would almost be close to like 100. You know, like last time it was a total of 15, right? But you know, it helped Red Bull get more points. All the other races, he threw away wins, which helped Max get wins. It's not good enough. Like, it really fucking ain't. Like, you know, I'm not these people like, you know, Arava and that other prick who'll start their save and then by race 2 they've already replaced both drivers because they're fucking retards. I mean, I will only do it if there's a genuine case of doing it, because Leclerc's the man. He's got the pace. But does he have the bottle? I don't think he does have the bottle, but we're like a week away here from France, and now we've got all this urgent stock about the suspensions being low, so we're going to have to go in there. Oh, suspension's already in progress. That's what I like to see. I've got regulations results coming up, folks, and it's to do with changing the finale of next season to double points, which of course it did in 2014. So let's see. Gearbox. Fucking hell, what's going on here, man? The gearbox is falling off the car. Change. Car 2, boom. You get that. Car 1. I'm intrigued to see the results of this. Aye, no one. Leclerc, mate, your gearbox is non-existent because you drove turn 1 at Austria at full speed ahead and then smashed into the barriers at the other side at the same time. Let's not pretend that Stevie shafted you, son. You fucking bottled it. It's as simple as that. The majority are against these changes. It will not be a part of next season. Ferrari voted for it, Red Bull voted for it, Alpine voted for it, and Alfa Romeo voted for it. So, yeah, kind of weird that the two teams on top in F1 right now, Red Bull and Ferrari would have voted for it, but I mean, I guess it is what it is. ERS is in poor shape. Fuck, I tell you what, everything's in poor shape for Leclerc. Leclerc's getting a grid penalty as well on top. Fuck me, Leclerc, mate. You're seriously shafted everyone here. And your engine as well needs changed. You're one fucking dickhead. Honestly, like, I mean, he's completely not really shafted us. What's he all about? Jesus, like, come on. It's just not good enough. Literally grid penalties, having to build all these new parts, money down the shitter because this guy can't finish a race. Like, what's going on? So as you can see, practice 1 results, Sainz on top from Leclerc, Hamilton, a surprise P3, Verstappen, Perez, Gasly, Russell, Ocon, Bottas, Shinoda. So that's a wee bit surprising there. Not good, to be honest, the fact that Leclerc's taking a penalty this soon, but is what it is. As you can see, in practice 2 here, Ferrari, Sainz basically got a 5/10 gap back to both Red Bulls. Insane. Gasly gets up to P5. And Leclerc a bit behind Sainz. It's a bit not worrying, like, but I definitely think from the first half of this season, like, Leclerc's went downhill, not only in crashes, he's literally, like, performances, and Sainz has just fucking skipped above him, you know? Is what it is, but Sainz leads the driver, so at that point, I'll tell you what, Leclerc, mate, you'll not be getting favoured. You'll be getting out of the way for big Carlos, señorita. And as soon as I say that, we go into the final practice session. Ferrari, looks like we took a step back or something. What's going on? Leclerc top, for Max, for Sainz, for Russell, Perez. A bit of a mixed up order as we head into qualifying. I want nothing less than 2 guys on the front row, despite the fact Leclerc's taking a penalty. But you know, it's all that matters. He's only getting a 10 grid drop, so I mean, it's not the worst. You know, so it's not like, oh, there's no point in sending the guy out, like, so, you know. Let's get as high up as possible with the main man. I'll tell you what, you can see in the background that Sebastian Vettel has completely held up Carlos Sainz the whole way down the... Oh, come on, man. That means Sainz going to have to go out again. The last thing I want is Charles Leclerc comes out the final corner to the line. Verstappen did a 32 flat. What are we going to do? A 31.6. It's a very good lap. But we all know that Carlos Sainz is down on that because of fucking Sebastian Vettel. It'll be the slowest lap on the board. Well, no, it wasn't exactly the slowest, but is that a lap time I'm willing to risk? Because if he goes out, both Ferraris not in the top 10, that would be a worry. I'm just going to send Sainz out again. I mean, I think he would have been safe. I mean, it's like, what, a second back to Vettel in 16th, but for fuck's sake, I'll tell you what, like, he's going to catch this entire gaggle of cars, and that, oh, Carlos, son. This is not good. Not good at all. Oh god, it's an absolute disaster. It's a catastrophe. He gets wiped out there by the fucking Haas. What's he playing at? No idea what he's playing at, man. That was shocking, but if Sainz makes it, I mean, there's literally a car at every part of the track here. He almost gets held up by Williams. I mean, this could be an absolute disaster. Held up there by an Alpine. I think there's a bit of a gap to the next car, which is a Red Bull. Nope, it's not. It's an AlphaTauri. And then it's a McLaren. Jesus Christ, it's a disaster. I mean, he's just getting held up. Move it the road. Carlos Sainz to the line. Doesn't improve. I'll tell you what. This could be a catastrophe here for Ferrari. Sainz, you know, it looks like he's staying in. That's good. That's good. But it could have been worse. Like, it really could have been. But Leclerc fastest, Verstappen second. Then it's both Mercedes. I mean, Perez a long way off on both laps. Both Alpines through. Both Williams out. Both Aston Martins out. And Kevin Magnussen in 16th. And Lando Norris holds up both Ferraris. Fuck off, man. Honestly. We just can't get a break. I mean, some of them are held up massively, but we're about 6/10 off what we could have done. Verstappen down in 8th. I mean, I doubt anyone's going to be able to put Verstappen out. I mean, theoretically, if Gasly can be 4/10 off, and really if Tsunoda can be up there, he could knock Verstappen out, but it's not happening. And to the line, here we go. Looks like we're through. Verstappen goes fastest with a 31.9. And again, Ferrari, we just can't get a clean lap together here. I mean, 2nd, 6th, not brilliant. And the Q3 though. All the eggs have to be in the Carlos Sainz basket. I mean, I'd rather Leclerc get pole, to be honest, because that means he starts a place up, like, but, you know, at the end of the day, 11th, 12th, whatever you want to call it, man, it's not really going to matter too much here. As both Ferraris head out here for their first laps in Q3. And I'm just praying that no one holds us up. And I believe every car is out now. Watch it. Ah, Hamilton, of course. Lewis Hamilton decides to come out last second. He's going to hold up Carlos Sainz. But Sainz got past him actually rather easy. Bottas gets past him. Leclerc held up. That's bastard. What's he all about? Jobbing a suits. Carlos Sainz goes through the final corner. Gasly 32.5 to beat. Sainz to the line. What's it going to be? Come on, a mid 31. That's what we need. That's what we want. What's it going to be? It's a 31.8. I don't know if that's going to be pole position or not. I'm not 100% sure on that one. Leclerc goes fastest with a 31.6. There, as the Ferraris will be heading back to the garage. Is Max Verstappen now? What is he going to be capable of on his lap? Russell, what can he do? But Verstappen ruined the final corner. Russell goes 6/10 off Leclerc. Verstappen to the line. I think he'll split them. Verstappen, no, goes P3. So we're not going to send Leclerc out. We're just going to send Sainz out because, to be honest, Leclerc, I don't think anyone's beaten that lap time apart from Sainz in the same car, so it doesn't really matter from our point of view. No point battling each other. Carlos Sainz getting pretty close to the back of Alonso here on his lap, but Hopefully it won't matter too much. He's went purple through the first sector. Through the final corner goes Carlos Sainz. Hamilton beats Perez. Sainz to the line. He does improve, but he can't beat him as Max Verstappen goes through the final corner. What can Verstappen do? Verstappen to the line. Improves, but stays P3. So Leclerc gets pole position, but he won't start there. He will start P11. I mean, we've just got to go with a different strategy with Leclerc, and that is start on the hards. I mean, yes, a wee bit suicidal to a degree, but, you know, we've got to go along with him and hopefully beat a lot of people out. It's as simple as that. With Sainz, we've just got to start in the medium, go on to the hards and see where it goes. It is sunny and bright as the drivers line up. Leclerc, though, he's a decent way down the grid. What can he do for that position? But it's all about Max and Sainz in the title fight. Leclerc, he's slipping out of it, but he needs a good performance here to get the job done. But Sainz leads pretty easily here from lap 1. Verstappen, think about it, that could have been a monumental crash there, to be honest. But Leclerc on the hards, he's on that, so he's up into P10 is our Charles Leclerc, as we're going to go on deploy on Carlos Sainz, and we're going to go on deploy for Charles Leclerc doing these back straights because we want to get past as many cars as we can. It's as simple as that, and then put it back down to neutral for him.
And you are doing a really good job.
Put Sainz up to aggressive and hopefully get that DRS before we get on to those laps, as Leclerc has overtook Ocon, so he's up to P9. Charles Leclerc doing a good job. Leclerc overtakes Fernando Alonso for P8. As you can see, pretty easily done there, as we've got Gasly and Bottas up next. But Leclerc, of course, on the hard compound, going to go long. What's everyone else on? Hamilton's on the hard, so there's that, like. But Sainz pulling his gap there from Max Verstappen. We're sitting about 1.7 as Leclerc is over the back of Bottas. Realistically, should be getting him this lap. Fuck's sake, getting him this lap. He's side by side with him, man. He's side by side with the boring bastard. What? Come on, overtake him. On Leclerc. Come on, son. You can be give me a good chance of getting second here. DRS. Fuck off. Deploy. Get him up into deploy, Leclerc. You got to late break that, son. He does late break it, but he's kind of just getting bogged down in the midfield as Lewis Hamilton overtakes Max Verstappen. What's going on there? Now Leclerc in deployment mode. In behind Pierre Gasly. He's 2.1 behind Russell. So we kind of need to make this move stick. But he kind of bottles it there. Leclerc now gets it done as the Red Bulls are battling with the Mercedes. So Leclerc can
You've done a good job. Well done.
catch up on these guys. Leclerc does the fastest lap of the race, but he's just going to get held up by this Red Bull Merc battle. Like, thankfully he's done all the damage that was done, but I mean, look at this. Merc and Red Bull absolutely battling. Carlos Sainz loving life. Leclerc has got past George Russell, but as you can see, Perez up next. And Sainz, he's not losing fuel, like, but he's under fuel. And he's only 3 seconds ahead. I can't really risk the afford because I do not want to slip in this DRS too, or else anyone could win this race. Just need to keep Sainz out ahead. Leclerc though, trying to get past Sergio Perez. He's on deploy. Literally every, I mean, this is just every lap. Hamilton and Max going for it. But he just can't quite get past there, Leclerc, so put the engine down. Oh no! There's been a collision! Oh, no, Leclerc spun. Oh, this guy is bottling it. I don't believe it. I thought Perez tapped him. He's managed to rejoin in front of Russell and Perez, but he's 5 seconds behind them. And now, with the DRS, you've got to feel like he's a sitting duck there behind. Oh, for fuck's sake, really? Like, Charles Leclerc, I've been telling you about these mistakes, mate, and he just didn't listen. But insanely enough, we've actually managed to drag Perez and Russell right back to the fight with Hamilton and Verstappen, which I didn't really see coming, but fucking hell, man. So I mean, Sainz only 5 seconds clear, so it's a 6-way battle for the lead, isn't it? Like, if you realistically look at it from that point of view. As Leclerc blasts past Max Verstappen, does he get damaged because he's slipping behind Hamilton?
Oh, and Ferrari just gained a place.
And now Leclerc overtakes Lewis Hamilton, and it looks like the hard tyre is absolutely the race tyre for Verstappen, though. He can't get close to Hamilton and us anymore, so I don't really know what's going on there. For him, from his point of view, Leclerc is on a mission now. And the thing is team orders getting brought into play, or we're just going to let them race. So Verstappen and Russell in the pits. Leclerc is on an absolute mission. He's just catching Sainz here. Also easily, we've got Verstappen and Russell's pitted. I'm going to keep Sainz out a bit longer, just try and get him to extend this stint. So, right, we'll pit him at the end of this lap. Leclerc's got it into that, man, so it looks like the hard tyre's brilliant. So Leclerc's probably going to be affected in the second half of this race, but it is what it is. As Carlos Sainz will be coming at the end of this lap. Leclerc's got the fastest lap. And Perez has actually beat it for Verstappen and Russell. Maybe the overcut's the way to go here. As Carlos Sainz comes out in P3, Leclerc now will just push. Tell us, name me a tyre grip, man. It's simple as that. Him and Hamilton both on the hard tyre, so it'll be interesting to see how this race will play out at the end. Sainz, though, he's in the DRS of Alonso. Well, Alonso's behind him, which means, I mean, this could end badly here for El Senor. As Fernando thinks about it, we're going to turn Carlos Sainz up to that and put him on deploy for like a lap just to get out of that DRS. That's exactly what we need. It's exactly what we get. And now Carlos Sainz, fuck, look at that, man. Alonso's just in it. He won't be in it anymore though. 1.4, boom. And he's catching now. He's catching Lewis Hamilton. 15 seconds to go there for Sainz, who sets the fastest lap. I mean, as you can see, Max Verstappen and George Russell doing 10th and 11th, so they've kind of just dropped out the fight for the win. To be honest, I don't think not that Perez is ever in it. I mean, Perez is like, what, 13 seconds behind Sainz. I mean, at least with Hamilton and Leclerc, different strategies, but I mean, Verstappen at this rate might not get points. Seems to be a serious issue with the fucking car. DRS disabled. What's happened here? Incident, virtual safety car. Which means we're going to pit Charles Leclerc under the VSC, which means it's kind of shafted Carlos Sainz and Leclerc. But Lando Norris runs wide and then clips Max Verstappen. He has clipped Max Verstappen. And Max Verstappen's not on the screen as he ended up out of France. Not really sure what's going on there. But he's not lost a serious amount of time, Max Verstappen. But the VSC brought it. He's doing 11th. No helping him whatsoever. But Charles Leclerc pits. Will Lewis Hamilton follow? Leclerc in. I mean, but the only problem is like Leclerc's now got to do like near 30 laps on the medium tyre. That's the only problem. Like you've got to say here, but it is what it is. I've faith in the guy can do it as long as he doesn't bury it. But Hamilton does not pit, so Lewis Hamilton decides to risk it for an almighty biscuit. And but Charles Leclerc out in second in this race. But it is a long pit stop here. Leclerc has beat Carlos Sainz out of the pit lane, and I think Carlos will be a bit fuming about that. I mean, I'd be a bit fuming about that.
We should slow down.
So yeah, Hamilton 7.1 clear, and now there's Carlos Sainz. Alright, so I'll put him on standard. Like, he should be able to get 25 laps at the fucking tyres, and I'll put him on standard as well. So yeah, I mean, it's looking good for Ferrari. Hamilton probably should have pitted, but I think he's probably just relying on another one later down the line. Lewis Hamilton pits, Lewis Fernando, so I think the hard tyre runners have just went, you know what, we can't be arsed with this, so it's a Ferrari 1-2 from Sergio Perez. Well, actually, can Hamilton beat Perez out? I wasn't actually keeping really an eye on the gaps. I mean, I guess he could, like. Perez had to go through a lot of traffic, so where's Lewis Hamilton going to come out? Lewis Hamilton does, in fact, come out in P3 on the youngest tyres of everyone up here, so maybe he could actually challenge. You never really know. Esteban Ocon. That's an interesting thing there, but, you know, Alonso, where is Ocon pitted? No, Ocon's no pitted. I was about to say, I don't think he's pitted. But Verstappen, I mean, it looks like Verstappen is going to finish 6th, but definitely get a problem with the car. But I mean, I say that, all these guys, midfielders, that coming out on fresh mediums, they might be able to get Verstappen if he does have a problem, so it is what it is. Fastest lap of the race, he's 11 seconds clear Sainz, Hamilton 28 behind, Perez 32, Russell and Verstappen both 40, and I believe any sort of midfield attack on Verstappen and Russell isn't going to really happen at this stage of the race. But it's looking like a Ferrari 1-2, guys, so it's looking good. But yeah, saying that, I'm sure Leclerc will try and throw it in the wall at some point, so it is what it is. Leclerc on to the last lap here. I mean, I don't know what happened last time in the last lap. He absolutely binned it, but it's looking like here Charles Leclerc is going to pick up a win for the first time in what feels like forever. I believe since what, Imola? It might be since Imola, which is ages ago. So Leclerc is going to win here. Got a bit lucky with the strategy, but you know, you've got to be in it to win it. He started at 11th. I don't think many people's going to begrudge him. Even had a spin in there. But he's won here from Carlos Sainz, who's won the last couple there. He finishes 2nd. Then with Lewis Hamilton, a wee bit longer down the road, he's going to get a podium there for Mercedes. Then it's Perez, Russell, Verstappen. So Red Bull losing quite a lot of you know, points here, and looks like, yep, Russell definitely going to beat Max Verstappen, unless actually Verstappen can get a really good run to the line, which he might, but it doesn't look like he's going to get it. George Russell beats Verstappen. That's what we like to see. Verstappen getting only 8 points. That's good, great for the championship. So there are the results. I mean, Leclerc, brilliant, man. Starting P11. Like, we did look like we had the fastest car this weekend by quite a bit. You know, I think the fastest laps prove that. We are like 5 tenths clear. But that's the amount of upgrades we've been bringing in with that Ferrari money. You know, Mattia Binotto couldn't win a plastic bag, man. But us, we're going to win everything. We're going to win the constructors. We're going to win the drivers. But yeah, Leclerc 33 points behind Carlos Sainz and the drivers. Verstappen is what, 26 points behind Carlos Sainz. So Sainz has the bit between his teeth. He's got 5 wins and 10 podiums. Leclerc's got 4 wins and 9 podiums. So, you know, is what it is. Constructors though, Ferrari on top. We have what, an 81 point gap in the championship. Just need to keep that going as we go to Hungary.